Hello. I am making a clay video with generic Play-Doh, and I need to talk about David Foster Wallace. I just tried to talk to my husband Paul about this, and there is no way that he understands it acoustically because he's hard at hearing. I have to talk this loud. I am making a video. That's how I have to talk. And really, really loud. Okay, so, and I have to get real close. And it's very difficult, very, very difficult for his nerves, but also for my nerves. Okay, very, very difficult. But then when I talk clearly and loud and all of this, and I try to talk about ethics philosophy, first of all, he doesn't hear the word ethics. It sounds like essence. So I have to be real clear, and ethics philosophy. Okay. It's very difficult, very, very difficult. And I need to talk to someone about this because it's very, very, very frustrating and very difficult for me to live like this, where I already live in a very insulated situation, insular, Robinson Crusoe type of situation where you make a cross on the wall each day, I made it another day in total isolation. And that going on now for 15 years. Oh my gosh. It's almost like living in a cave. So, but thank goodness for the internet. I have my friend Sandy in France. Okay, so thank you, Sandy, Angel Soul, for existing and for us having connected and found each other on the Sea Shepherd Facebook page. My goodness, it's like I have met a few nice people there too, but they are all like super busy, and they meet someone, nice to meet you, and they walk on and they run off. And Sandy is very caring, and she also has a life and has things to do, but she will once in a while think of me, and that's deeply touching, and that means a lot to me, and it makes me survive. So there is someone who likes me, someone in the world out there who cares about me genuinely, who likes me, who's not just not just like one of those men out there who are just into their self-pleasing and their fetish and whatnot, all of that self-pleasuring. But there's someone out there who genuinely cares about me. I thought that Sarat was also genuinely caring about me. I had that impression because he talked to me about his mental illness, which I thought was touching. But then it just turns out that he was just another recruiter. He was just another Islamic groomer. So, and that made me real mad when I found out, when I hooked up with him on Facebook and talked to him there for a few days, and then it turns out he's just another Islamic groomer. And I thought he cared about me. I thought he saw me as a living being, not just a lust object or fetish object. So, well, that's it was very frustrating for me to see. So, and those Islamic groomers, they really make me mad. That's really frustrating. That's like a million times or light years more frustrating than with Paul, with the hearing issue, or with his total disinterest in philosophy. So, But yeah, he's also not interested. And I sit there and I have something that is like, I have some kind of epiphany, And then I want to talk about this, and I have like nobody to talk about this, like absolutely nobody. I can sit here, talk to my artwork. My artwork knows, my artwork understands, and that's all good. I need someone also to actually hear me and actually be interested in the same subject. And it's very painful for me that even under the Jiddu Krishnamurti videos, these rather rude comment exchanges between people under the Jiddu Krishnamurti, everyone thinks they really got it down. But what Jiddu Krishnamurti is saying, it's like, ho ho ho, they're like this scornful laugh about humanity, in their comments. And then when you get into further comment exchange with them, you see they're like, they didn't get it, what he said. Like, not at all. It totally bypassed. It just went through one particular funnel, and that is the ego funnel again. Yeah. But not the dissolution funnel. It's the ego tunnel. That's the back in the ego tunnel, that's what some people are talking about. So that Thomas Metzinger, his book's title is The Ego Tunnel. And that is where they're back in that. So back in that same ego tunnel that Jiddu Krishnamurti is talking to David Bohm about, and Dr. Narayan and Dr. Rahula. And Dr. Parshari, they're talking about this in the 70s. So it's very relevant. It will never be non-relevant. And it's more relevant and more urgent and more necessary and more needed today than ever before. And I'm trying to revive it. I'm trying to bring it back to the world. And I see the people that are commenting under the Jiddu Krishnamurti videos, most of them did not understand it. They all want to pride themselves as if they did understand it. And it becomes a pride. And in the moment it becomes a pride, they completely bypassed anything he has ever said. So I don't know if this makes sense to people. But anyway, that's why this is so incredibly frustrating for me when I see all of this. Yeah. But it's not necessarily that the people are like deliberately set out to lie about this, or deliberately. Maybe in the beginning maybe there are some elements of kindness, or in Sarat maybe too, maybe, he found someone who talks about this stuff, and there's no one else talking about this stuff, giving him some comfort. But then, it loops itself back into the Islam, and Islam, it's almost like tattooed into these people's brain cells. That's what it is. And I don't know how are they ever going to let go of this. I don't see it. And I'm not here to etch it out of them, or whip it out of, or exorcise it out of them. That's not the solution either. So this is not about violence. And violence is not gonna etch violence out. So that's out of the question. So the only way I can at all address the issue of violence in the world, and the war, and all these misunderstandings, and the hate and the religion. If if I can at all get this understood, is if I have to approach this in in a in a peaceful, in a clear manner. I have to use examples. I have to make this interesting. I have to probably bring some very interesting and compelling examples into it in order for anyone to find this interesting at all, or to understand it in a more detailed way. So to keep it vague, that's not gonna, as soon as vagueness comes into it, people shut off. It's not concrete enough anymore. Then they lose their interest and they drift off in their minds. So I have to use concrete examples for what I'm trying to bring across to the world. And so what I was trying to tell Paul, what I had this epiphany in my bathroom, and while I was brushing my teeth, and I realized now this is very clear. I know now where David Foster Wallace got the character Leonard Stetchik from. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm pretty sure. So he got that character Leonard Stetchik from the book A Child Called It by David Peltzer. Okay. David Peltzer, also older than David Foster Wallace, I don't know, about 10 years older or so, had already written this book. I don't know, probably has written that book maybe before David Foster Wallace started writing, or in the beginning of his writing career. So at some point David Foster Wallace came across that book by David Peltzer, true story about David Peltzer's life with his psychotic mother. A Child Called It, and then he has written, I think, 3 more books to explain more about his thoughts and his healing process and his adult life and how he's dealing with that trauma. So, but the very first book, and it was a bestseller, it was a shocker for the whole world. True story about, and very well written, very intelligent man, David Peltzer, and also very, the enormous amount of patience that man has and peacefulness that he has inside of him is extraordinary. I mean, someone else would go and just go ahead and kill that mother later on. You know, I probably, I don't know what I would do, but I might. I mean, though what she has done to her child is, that's monstrous. Okay, that woman was a monster. And he said he did come a little closer to it. Even he did come a little closer to this hatred and to this, you know, where he felt like, you know, that's what he wanted to do, but his inner voice, very strong prefrontal cortex, he knows, well, what good is that gonna do for his life? You know, it would just put him in prison. So she was already, you know, in some kind of, she was in a care facility for criminally insane people. So what happened is, this is his story, but just trying to summarize this now. David Peltzer, when he was a child, his mother started to hate him more and more and more. Just like, you know, the fictional character Leonard Stetchik by David Foster Wallace, probably most likely modeled after that story by David Peltzer, The Child Called It. So very kind-hearted boy, you know, very a super achiever in school, like everything absolutely A plus. Whatever he touches, he turns to gold. Everything super intelligent, amazing student, an honor student, and all of this. So as time went by, the mother seeing that he is this honor student, he doing this also to please his mother, right? Not knowing that it actually does exactly the opposite. His mother is an underachiever, a loser, a complete flake. And deep down, she knew this. She actually, of course, she hated herself. No one who really genuinely loves himself or herself is going to inflict so much suffering on some other living being. Okay, that suffering that a psychopath inflicts on another living being is an outward projected self-hate. That's all that is. And they make that other being, however neutral and innocent, into the perpetrator, because the ego suffers from that overachievement of the other person. It's jealousy. It's a sense of mere, like, their slick surface makes the loser mirror himself in that slick surface of the other person, in the flawlessness of the other person. So that's really what it is. It's jealousy, and it is sort of like, it's such a contrast. It basically delivers a contrast, an anti-homeostasis. That's what it does. It delivers such a contrast to the perpetrator, the loser, that the flawlessness of the other person, whether it's the person's own child or whether it's could be anybody, right? And that they're, particularly when it's someone that they have custody over, and they're bigger than that other being, and they see this, and they see like they can get away with, but it's more unconscious, it's not even that conscious. They gradually get into it, and when no one corrects them, when no one stands up against their incredible hideousness of action and of behavior, when no one steps in and says something, their behavior will get worse. It's just a matter of time. It will get worse. Same with Islam. If no one stands up against it and says anything, it will escalate. And I'm telling you, it will make Adolf Hitler look like an ice cream picnic somewhere in Yellowstone. I'm serious. I'm very, very serious. Okay, it's your world. Okay, you can stand up now. Okay, do it now. Stand up now against it. Particularly those people that are directly affected by it, that are living in that environment, that have had that society drilled into them and all of this. But also the ones in the Western world. You see them marching in. Say something now, okay? Stand up against it now, okay? No, I am not paranoid. You see it happening. Don't blind yourselves, people. Don't blind yourselves. You see the news, okay? You see it happening. Every single day, a person drives over people. Oh, it was an accident. Oops. No, it was not an accident. Okay. They let jihadists become truck drivers. Yeah. If you let a jihadist become a truck driver, you are responsible for the people being murdered and tortured and maimed and slashed by that truck. You are responsible for it. If you don't say something against Islam, you are responsible for what will come to you, to your life, to all of us. What gradually will escalate. If you don't say something, if you don't stand up against it now, okay? And that same thing happened with David Peltzer's psychotic mother. That's what psychosis basically is. It's when the person has no outlet emotionally, when there's no way they can ever talk about what they're feeling. They can never, through whatever circumstance, whether it's pride, the ego again, or whether they're being silenced by religion or society or pressured or whatever, and they don't have an outlet. They cannot talk about these kind of things. Or society, very big on, they're very big on negativity. They don't want to hear negativity. So Teal Swan made a video about this, just always in synchronicity with my videos and the themes that I'm discussing. So just made a video about this, that is very toxic in society, that they don't allow negativity, that anger is not allowed, anger is not tolerated. What that dynamic causes, when people don't tolerate or allow anger or expressing oneself peacefully, these people that will be silenced, many of them will then snap at another time, and it will come out in a much more aggressive and maybe in a very dangerous way. So it's very important. That's why we need therapy centers. It's very important not to sit on these emotional issues, but to express these emotional issues right away and talk about this with someone. Not to sit on this, not to repress it out of pride or being silenced by society. People want to be liked, so they all choke it down. No, don't do that. Don't be liked on cost of your own body and brain. That's not how things work out, because it will catch up with you later on, and you will snap in a very, very strange, inappropriate way and situation, just by the drop of a hat, because you have silenced yourself before that. So don't do it. You have to find someone to talk to. All of these issues, all of these troubling things, you have to find someone to talk to about this. This is very important. This is so important, you have absolutely no idea. That is more important than the FBI and the military complex combined, because those are patch-up institutions. They patch up the shit when it happens. Okay, they patch up the volcano eruption after it happened. Okay, so let's not have the emotional volcano erupt, and talk about this before. Okay? Maybe the military complex doesn't even want to hear about it, because that would put them out of business. Can you imagine world peace putting them out of business? World peace, if we do it, you can create world peace. It starts with you. You. Every one of us. It starts with me. That's why I make these videos. So it starts with every single individual. We're in this together. Okay? It starts with you and all of us, and together we can make this better. We can say no to the convolution of emotions. We can talk about these things now. We can free ourselves now from that pressure cooker. Okay? Right now, you can free yourself from it. And then let's put the military complex out of business, and Lockheed Martin and Exxon Mobil and Boeing. Let's put them out of business. Or force them into drone technology, force them into good technology, into robotics that will help us. Okay, so yeah, so there's a war threatening right now with Iran, and Donald Trump is a peacemaker. He does not want war. Okay, you can all clearly see this. Okay, they can flatten Iran any second. Donald Trump and the military complex together, they can flatten Iran. Okay, so it's not because Donald Trump is afraid or anything. No. Donald Trump is an ethical person. He doesn't want to see 150 people killed because they shot down one of the US drones that was unmanned. Unhuman. So he's just going by ethics. He's a very good person. He puts ethics also even before his own popularity. That's how ethical Donald Trump is. No one knows this. It's not going to be portrayed like this by the media, because the media, they're composed of being paid, bribed by the Muslim agenda. Muslim agenda already has their collaborators sitting in there, okay, and by the corporate agenda. And of course the corporate agenda is very likely to work together with another selfish and self-centered agenda, like a religious agenda. They want callous people, the corporate agenda, so they'll easily work together with those. The corporate agenda, for them, it's only about market perpetuation. They have something that is being produced, and they don't want to lose that production cycle. Whether that kills everyone on this planet, they don't care. They want to keep the production cycle going. After they also have been killed, their production cycle will continue on, just without a person there. It's like a, I mean, this is more than sarcastic, the situation. It is, that is how the ego functions. And the greed is part of the ego. Greed. That the greed in some people escalates, just like a psychopathic person's behavior escalates, like the mother of David Peltzer. So David Foster Wallace wrote about this person, Leonard Stechik, which he, I think, modeled after David Peltzer when he was a child. David Peltzer writing about his childhood, a child called It, his psychotic mother. Gradually, because no one said anything, no one corrected her, the whole family just let her do it. The father, they were all like enablers, they let her torture torture the father's son, torture the brother's brother. They let their brother be tortured because they figured, oh, it's not against me, so that's all that matters. And I hate these people for that. I hate that behavior. I really hate that. I hate the enablers' behavior as much as I hate the perpetrators' behavior. And that's why I get so incredibly angry when I see a Muslim apologist on the internet. Someone who will say, Islam is peaceful. Like, what the fuck? It's like every single day the shit is happening. And they say it's peaceful. I mean, it cannot get any more reversed than that. It really can't. I mean, that is denial to the maximum. Yeah, it's maximum denial. And that's mental illness. Yeah. Denial personality disorder, I call it. That's what that is. And I think it's time that people start standing up against this. And don't worry what insults come flying at you. They will try to be as vicious and hurtful to you as they can. They do it to me all the time. They would kill me, and if they could find me, if they could see me, they would kill me. Okay. But they underestimated my Medusa, so they better not even come in the remotest range, because I got a monster inside of me, and that monster is psychic. So don't even think about it. So, but they will come up. They hate my guts. They will come at me with insults. They will come at me with their energies. And all I can say to them in writing or energetically is, I don't hate you, your body or brain. I love all beings equally much. What I hate is their behavior. That is what I hate. Okay? Even their egos mean well, but it escalates into the wrong direction. So it's the behavior and the way of thinking that I hate. That is so ill and sick. Their behavior and their way of thinking. Right? And that is what I'm trying to bring across to them. And my message to them in writing and energetically at night when I go to bed, they still swarm around. They constantly want like this. I want to kill, that's what their energy is coming at me for. They want to kill, they want to bite, they want to hate, they want to rape, they want to they want to maim, they want to dismember. That's what they want to do, and they want to scream. And really, what's underneath all of this is a helpless child that has always been battered and abused. And they're not soul advanced, and they're still soul children, soul babies. They don't know how else to deal with it other than to fall completely to the mercy of their ego way of thinking and behavior, and the hatred and all of this. They cannot think outside of this, really. It's very difficult for them to even, particularly when they're surrounded with the same type of people. How can they think out of it? They think this is concrete reality, truth. That's what they think. They think their religion is truth because of this. Because everyone else is also psychotic. So then psychosis becomes institutionalized, everyone does it, and they think this is a norm, this is normal. Yeah, that may be normal, but it's friggin' mentally ill. Okay, that's what it is. And people need to become aware about this. Just because something is the norm or normal, normal always as regarded as good, no, normal is not good. Okay, so good is peace. If no one does peace, then they'll hate peace. They think war is good because everyone else does it. No, it's not how it works. Okay, that is not how it works. Your bodies and your cells, they don't want all of that hate and war and chaos and suffering. Your cells, your brain cells don't even want it. I said that many times before. The hunter's brain cells don't want to kill an animal. The jihadists' brain cells themselves, they just want to be, they want to be fed and they want to feel good. They don't want to have red hatred going through them. That's all energy. It's electricity. They don't want that. These massive action potentials going through them, and they don't even know. They go against a shadow enemy, against a an imaginative enemy, so, an invented enemy. They go against someone who's a peace lover. This is shadow boxing. So I'm here to help. Huh? I'm not an enemy. I'm nobody's enemy. I'm just a messenger that brings truth and love to the world. I hope this can finally be understood. I hope this doesn't get misunderstood. So, David Foster Wallace's mother, she hated her son. Not David Peltzer's mother. She hated her son. Okay, and I always very quick to mix these two names up. So it's also getting hot in here. That makes my brain like, whew, these two things are so close together in my neurons. So David Peltzer's mother, she was psychotic. She hated her son because her son was an overachiever. He was an honor student, and he was praised by the teachers. They would even call her and to praise him, thinking that would make the mother feel good, but did exactly the opposite. She tortured him for that. And the kinder he was and more loving he was also to her, the more she hated him. Because it was, and that's the same in the story by David Foster Wallace about Leonard Stetschik. He is such a kind-hearted child, wants to just be fair and kind to everyone, wants to understand everyone, even his perpetrators that have almost killed him. He doesn't want to press charges against them. He wants to love everyone, and the more he loves, the more they hate him. So why is that? Because the ego feels threatened by this contrast, by this kind person that shines the light through the contrast at reflecting back at them, and it shines the spotlight, basically their light, their brightness shines a spotlight onto, like a stage light, so shines it onto their ugliness, onto their coldness and hatred and jealousy and just, I don't like the word evil. I don't want to use this. So it shines a light on their adversity. That's what it is. On their mental illness. On the coldness and callousness and selfishness. So, and then they see this and they see how bad they are. They don't want to see it. They try to drink it away. They try to drug it away, and they try to batter it away against others always. But someone comes along who is kind, who is good person, who behaves wonderfully and decently and kind, and is kind towards the environment and the animals. And they will hate that person because the person shines like a police light at them and exposes them for what they are. Yeah. Involuntarily, just by being good, that good light illuminates the entire area and exposes everyone's lies wherever they are. They let people basically run themselves against the wall. The goodness of a person makes a badly behaving person expose himself, basically. And then they hate that other person for just existing, because their existence, their simple sheer existence has exposed them for what they are. Flakes, selfish, lazy, also self-hating, of course. That's deep underneath. If all of this could, instead of acted out, if this could come to the surface, if this could at all even come to the surface, and they can face this, they can finally face that self-hate. And then comes the question, why do you hate yourself? Because your parents treated you like this. You put it onto to yourself. You'd rather put it onto yourself because you'd rather think that you were wrong, like the parents made you think, than exposing your parents for what they are, that they did this wrongfully, that this is unjustified, that your parents were wrong. You don't want to, because the ego goes so far, that because the ego identifies with these parents, so the ego cannot point the finger and cannot do the accusation and finally say it for what it is. The parents treated you like this wrongfully and without any reason, just for you being there, an innocent little child. So once we can get to that point, once we can get to that level in therapy, in a healing process, okay? Therapy, I don't mean it. Don't make the word therapy into an institution. This can happen in your own room, this healing process. If you are willing to face it, if you're willing to sit down with it and face that your parents hurt you without any reason, has nothing to do with you. Has to do with their pain and their mental illness. Then face this and look at it from a wider angle. Then you don't have to retaliate against them. Just know that they are mentally ill, and they did it out of their own unconsciousness and their own reactivity and ego, and letting it out on others. Okay? So once you get to that level, okay, then you let go of them. You let go of the society that has hurt you, that perpetually hurts people. You let go of that. A few people have done it. A few courageous people like Vazam and Salman Rushdie and this lady, I forgot her name, and some other people. Some courageous people that come from the hell. They come from the hell of the Middle East. And they were able to get out of there. They used their intelligence. They used their diplomacy. They used their caution, their prefrontal cortex. They used wisdom that they brought with them into this existence because they're older souls. Okay, so they know how to get out of there. And those are also the ones, those are all much more evolved than Jesus Christ. Okay, so those are angel souls. Angel and God level souls. It takes that soul development for someone to break out of that hell. Okay. Stand completely alone. Completely alone against everyone else. And in the Middle East, you can't even say what you want to say. You will get killed. So you have to use, not only do you have to stand alone energetically, but you have to do it even in a very smart way. to get out of there. Okay. You have to play chameleon, you have to come through the back door, and you have to get the hell out of there. And then you can start living your life. Okay. And maybe you can rescue another person, an animal, to get the hell out of there. Out of the hell. Hellhole. Okay. That's what the Middle East is. That's what Ayatollah Khomeini made out of Iran. He made hell out of Iran. They had a prince before him. There's this one lady, real amazing angel soul. She broke out of there as well, out of Iran. She talked about it, how she was raped as a teenager by one man after another, kept in slavery. Her intelligence, diplomacy, and old soul got her out of that. And now she speaks out, and she gives public presentations and speaks courageously out against it. And in the audience, the people are silent. No one even dares to clap, particularly the white Westerner. It's like, ooh, I better not clap, I might be seen as a bigot. Oh my gosh. Fuck that shit, you know. Fuck that social attribution shit. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're seen as a bigot. It doesn't matter what they want to see you as. It doesn't matter if entire Berkeley points their finger at you and laughs or puts you down. It doesn't matter. Stand strong against them and say, I put the animals in a halal slaughter, for example. I put the suffering animals in the Middle East, the dogs that are kicked, the dogs that are not allowed in the house. I put the dogs, and I put the children and the women and every innocent person, I put their well-being above my standing in Berkeley or anywhere in society, okay? Or anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is, in a Eckhart Tolle society, audience, whatever. If I could go on stage with Eckhart Tolle and get the microphone, I will say it. I will say it even though I'm afraid of audiences. I will say it. Just one sentence is enough. Say no to Islam. I'll say it right into the microphone, and I will blast it into an auditorium of 100,000 people. Or maybe aired live worldwide. No, that'll be better. And if it's only one person that says it, that dares to say it, yes, and that happens to be white, like I'm not supposed to say it because I am a Westerner, hell yes, I will say it. Because you know why? Because I put the animals way above, and all the innocent beings, all the innocent animals and humans, I put their wellness way above my standing in society or being bullied or any of this. That doesn't matter what people feel about me, how they bully me, how they see me, how they laugh about me. It means nothing. Okay? I might cry, okay? That's a small price to pay. So even if it makes me cry very much, I put the animals above me. Yeah? This is not about me. I'm a messenger. I cry every day for the animals, for the living beings out there. People hate someone like Leonard Stetschik. who's innocent and kind. Like they hate me when they say to me, your sweetness and kindness is sickening. And there was a guy that Paul used to play in a band, and this guy Marco, what he said, he was mad at Michael Jackson. It was a long time ago, like 20 years ago or something. Marco said the same thing about Michael Jackson that this one guy said about me. Made him sick that Michael Jackson felt compassionate and concerned about the forests. Michael Jackson was a very old soul, very beaten down. Almost impossible to live a life like this with that trauma. An old soul, still caring, still kind, after all this abuse during childhood. Only an old soul can still love after that kind of abuse. So Michael Jackson cared about the trees and the forests and the planet. He saw the value and the preciousness, the importance in it. And it made that guy Marco, that was a singer in a band in LA, made him mad. It's the same thing why they hate Leonard Stechik. They hate someone who is kind and caring because it throws them back at themselves and makes them look at themselves, that they do not match that light. So, and then they are basically reminded again of their own misery and their own selfishness and all of this. Then they hate themselves probably more, and then they lash it out against the person that reminded them by their existence of their own meanness and callousness and selfishness. That's how it works. Okay, I figured it out now, finally. The mystery of Leonard Stechik completely uncovered. Okay, that's how it works. That is exactly what it is. And it feels good to rant and rave and say the truth. I need that for my own mental well-being. I cannot be sitting on this. Okay, I need someone to talk to about this, and even if it's my camera, I need someone to talk to about this. Would be better even if I can talk to someone in person about this and get some feedback also, even if it's hateful feedback, any kind of feedback about this, so that I can actually have the chance to give you a feedback on your feedback. So if it's hatred, I can set the record straight. If it's